chance that if you're coming there with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your boo, your babe, there's a very high chance that you are going to be having a threesome. You could end up linking with somebody that wants to get, FFW, FFM. I don't want to get. Let me just say, let's. This is Overt. This is Overt Radio. We're gonna be open with you guys, okay? This is the vibe, and this is one of those ways which you can contract and get contacted with all this kind of diseases that are sexually transmitted. HIV being the key number one. Circle it. And this is true. I don't know about this particular perspective, but I know that in house parties, most people tend to get very, very sexual, and depending on the kind of house party you're attending, especially if it's a sexually, really specifically sexual one, there's a very high chance that you're going to go there. If you're dating, if you're single, you might go in and bump into someone that wants a threesome. That's the truth. And one of those ways we can be having sexual contact with multiple people is the way you can get diseases. My goodness. This is crazy. I want to touch on that. These days, if you can't do threesome, you must see boyfriend in Lagos. Like, is this how the streets of Lagos are getting so cold? You guys are getting too cold, though. If this is a very legitimate experience of somebody. You guys are getting too cold on these streets of Lagos. We need to calm down. We need some sun. What is it? Haba. Come on. What are you telling me? So you're telling me that if some people, in some situations, some people's relationships, they have to be in a threesome with a partner before they can have a boyfriend. You need to maybe have sex with his friend or have sex with another female. Come on. That's crazy. That's really wild. I have, in my own personal experience, I have not been in that kind of situation before where I needed to, have a threesome with somebody to be in a relationship, or to get to the point where we can say, okay, we're gonna be in a relationship. That's crazy. That's really wild. Lagos, that's giddy. What's going on? I feel like some places in Lagos are getting very, very, the streets are getting raggedy ass streets. Excuse my French, but that's the truth. Some places are getting very, very raggedy, and we need to be honest. A lot of people trying this raggedy lifestyle, and how can you tell me that somebody needs to do a threesome before you can get into a relationship with them? Lagos, what kind of rule is that? What kind of decision is that? And I feel like this is probably coming from the male gender, because she's saying these days, if you can't do threesome, you will not see boyfriend in Lagos. Actually, I can feel the pain coming from this comment. I can feel the pain, because it's like, why does that have to be something like you have to compromise on, especially if you have principles and you're a person that's non-polyamorous or interested in such kind of thing, and then your boyfriend or someone you see the potential of being your boyfriend is inviting you to bring in a woman or another man into that situation. That already gives you a teaser of the kind of relationship you'll be having with that person. Sort of like a teaser on the experience that you'll be having with that person. Really, really interesting vibe there, right? People of Vegas, I have something else for you guys. I said I was going to be brushing on some topics, just like for the introductory vibe of this beautiful start. We're starting this beautiful journey together, and this is Dating in Las Giddy. Dating in Las Giddy, airing in your station, your sound, your world, Overt Radio. 9 p.m., 1 a.m. every Tuesday. Okay. Dating today offers variety of options from casual to exclusive, each with its own dynamics. Understanding these types can help you navigate relationships that align with with your needs and desires. Dating types, different commitments, exclusivity. Noah said that. And interaction style. Your relationships may vary based on casual versus committed. I told you a lot of casual dating, casual sex, come on. And then committed versus casual versus committed. Casual dating. In Lagos, that's what's so rampant. Seeing someone without a commitment, usually focused on enjoyment, party, the fun things. That makes you feel like you're already in a honeymoon with that person, but you're just dating. And getting to know one another, actually. That's one part of dating that we need to remember, that dating is for getting to know somebody. Long-term dating. Dating is the intention of building a long-lasting, committed relationship. Friends with benefits, FWB. That is the popular phrase. Friendship that includes friendship in quote and unquote. Friendship that includes sexual intimacy without the expectation of a romantic relationship. This is very, very rampant. I won't lie to you. I've gotten a lot of message invites from a lot of groups, and I'll be scrolling through a group and I'll just see the fuck with buddy and friends with benefits group. You can go there and you link up with other people that are interested in being friends with just, the benefits of that friendship is just the sexual intimacy and a romantic relationship, with the expectation that we can get this somewhere. Some people will say side hookup, but what do we do these days? Situationship. A romantic or sexual connection that doesn't have clear expectations, boundaries and labels. This is where it gets messy. This last two I just mentioned, this is where it gets really messy. And this is under casual dating. Situationships where there's no clear boundaries and expectations and labels on what are we. That's a lot of things that a lot of people have a lot of problems with understanding here in Lagos. I noticed it though. We see two girls be fighting for one guy, and then one will be like, "I'm his babe." The other one will be like, "Did he ask you? When did you start? You are just a chicken." The gist now. But they don't drag one person weak, fling them, go inside one side like this. That's the typical fight of where you are seeing somebody that is friend with benefits or in a situationship with somebody that is already in a relationship, and they forgot to include the conversation where boundaries, your expectations of what that relationship is supposed to be like, and the labels that are included in this relationship. Come on. A lot of people get messy and hearts start to get crackety crack. Now let's get to the exclusive versus non-exclusive. And this is a serious part. Talking serious things here. Exclusive dating, aka monogamy. Dating one person with the expectation that they are not seeing other people. Drag your ear. Remember, some people are not hearing this specific one. They don't want to hear it. Dating one person with the expectation that they are not seeing other people. Ethical non-monogamy. A consensual relationship where partners openly agree that dating and being intimate with others is allowed. This thing trended that year now. Jada Pinkett with Will Smith. In August, entanglement. Everyone was like, what's going on? But it was this kind of situation where their relationship became open, and some person, the significant other, was not aware that their relationship was open. Is it aka cheating? But there were several times after that where they cleared the air and were like, they went out and they're now open in their relationship. That's one of the ways where it can get very dramatic, especially for public figures that have not openly established the labels and boundaries and their expectations of the relationship, despite it being a relationship of a prolonged, like a long term relationship. They've not still, because I feel like sometimes when in certain situations, when some relationship ages, people change, and sometimes that's one of the things that that is about intimacy, diving into that part of ourselves where we can always be open to tell our partners when we are ready for something different, rather than going behind and cheating, or letting our partners know that they don't offer us everything that we need at a certain period, and making efforts to know if that's something your partner can give to you, especially when it's a very long time period, like Jada Pinkett and Will Smith were together. Will Smith is how old? They've been together for more than 20 years, more than 25 years together. So you can expect that a certain kind of relationship, especially when they're public figures, that kind of relationship will have a dive where they might need to switch it up. Novelty theory needs to come into that kind of relationship. Online versus in person. This is when a lot of things can get a little bit, twitchy. You're not really understanding what's going on. Online dating, meeting potential partners through websites or dating apps. Dating apps like Tinder, Badoo, this kind of dating apps. Speed dating is structured events where people have brief time conversations with many different people. This is like, they set it up, you sit down, and people just be changing, switching up. Most people do this speed dating in house parties. Blind dating, going on a date arranged by someone else without knowing the person beforehand. Long distance dating. This particular one, it brings problems, it brings troubles. Especially when people aren't honest and setting clear boundaries on what, and they're not honest with themselves enough to say that this is what I can do with someone and this is not what I can do with someone. And then it becomes something where one person is so into it and the other person is just basically catfishing them. A relationship where partners are separated by distance and rely on travel and communication to stay connected. Friend setup, being introduced to a potential partner by a friend, acquaintance, or co-worker. Group dating, dating in a group setting where partners spend time with others rather than being one-on-one. A lot of people are experiencing new different kinds of I feel like it's really it really has to be said that the evolution of dating and relationships, the way relationships is really evolving in Lagos in the year 2026 really has to be stated. Relationships, the image of what a perfect relationship is, the manual seems to just be flipped up in the air and turned into the lagoon, really, because a lot of people are really changing the narrative on how a relationship should be. Just like how one of our commenters said, she has to have a threesome with a guy before they can become like that. Doesn't that tell you something, that something is switching up? Things are changing, and that people are having a different expectation and a different mind view of what dating in Lasgidi should look like and looks like. Dating doesn't always have to have an end goal like marriage and commitments. Like, for example, casual dating. The type of dating focus on having fun and enjoying someone's company. It typically takes a relaxed approach to dating, without any serious commitments or expectations of a long-term relationship. For this type of dating to work, because it come with a lot of boo-boo ha-ha. I'm not talking about our beautiful, yes, Mr. President. No. I'm not talking about our president. I'm talking about, the boo-boo, the chaos that can ensue when two people are not certain of what's happening. It's important for partners to be on the same page with a clear understanding and informed consent. 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 That means being honest with prospective partners and telling them you are not looking for anything serious at the moment. Hey, this one particularly within so I just had to say it they bring issue. This is when the rigmarole starts, the problem starts when you're not honest enough with your partner that you're not ready for anything serious. You're not ready to take things, the dating to a whole new level and a new chapter. You tell your partner from the start on that this is just casual, okay? And this is where a lot of people say females, we get very emotional and we get easily attached in, and then it's like there's this crack that starts to form and everything turns into chaos basically, where you can't understand where the boundary draws between casual dating. That's why you're here. That's why Overt Radio is bringing dating Latgate to your ear. You can always reach out to us, okay guys, at Overt Radio News. Our TikTok is Overt Radio Lagos. Check us out on YouTube, Overt Radio News. Instagram, Overt News, Overt Radio Live. Feel free to connect with us, okay? And you can always be part of this program. It's airing every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's why we're talking about these things, because a lot of people are getting mixed signals all the time. They're not strategizing, how, because that's how Lagos is. You got to shine your eyes. You have to strategize. You have to see that this is a city of millions, and a lot of people are hustling. Relationship has turned into hustle. Some people are looking for going into a relationship with dating for money, dating for so many reasons, and you have to be clear on your end so you can have the discernment to know when you're with somebody who is not heading in the direction you're headed in. And when you're open to having conversations that have to do with what are we going to do, where are we headed, well, just like I said, when you're open with your partner or your potential partner or someone you want to be dating, or what kind of dating is this are we casually dating, or are we going to be going committed? Are we going committed, or are we casual? Is this just a casual dating where you just want to see how it goes, find out what it leads us to? I'm not looking for anything serious. There's certain cues we fail to receive, and we miss those signals, the telltale, the red flags. Hey, you gotta mention the red flags, let the red flag go up. We certainly miss those signs when we are not ready to get to the point where we can have conversations about where we want to be with our partners. And that's where we're going to have that conversation here. We're going to remind you guys and educate you guys, okay? Educate you beautiful people of Lagos. Let's get it. Come on. We're gonna let you know the no-to guide. This is the guide to dating in Lagos, okay? If someone tells you you're interested in casual dating without availability or interest in a commitment or a relationship, check in with yourself and be honest with yourself and with them about whether casual dating is something you are interested in and available for. You get what I mean? Check in with yourself. And when you're ready for something like long-term dating, this is the type of dating focused on building a strong and lasting relationship with someone. It involves a deeper level of emotional commitment, and there may be an intention or expectation that it will lead to marriage, or like you guys want to get to a point where you live together and then get engaged. You don't want to do proper courtship. For a long-term relationship to be successful, partners must take their time to get to know each other. Couples need to ensure they are compatible. Couples must prioritize clear, honest, and consistent communication. We need to underline that part, that word. I don't know. That those two words, consistent communication. I feel like that's what dating is about, really. That's really what dating is about. You have to open your mouth and talk. this is not the time where you'll be expecting someone to be a mind reader. You have to open your mouth and talk with your partner. You have to communicate with people, communicate with a person, communicate with whoever makes your heart, your butterflies in your belly. The heart beats, your heart is racing. Not just racing, they make you feel calm too. It's not just the hotness of there's also a moment of ease and peace with that person. And that's one of the things we would love to discuss here. We got to let you know that there are rules to relationship. Or I don't want to call them rules. They are guide lines that can be followed to ease relationships. And we will be discussing these things every day, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Forgive me, every weekdays, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Beautiful people, us. I just want to drop this last tip. If you're interested in dating someone long term, look for a partner whose interests, values, and relational goals align with your own. Research suggests that couples who share values have greater attraction and relationship satisfaction. When you share similar values, principles with someone, there's a very high chance you're going to last. You're going to go the long run together. If your relationship with someone while you're dating and you're realizing that maybe they have certain values that clash with yours, there are certain arguments that we shouldn't be having, because if we were aligned, our principles were aligned, our values were aligned, we will not even be having an argument. A lot of things can be skipped. You can skip certain things, certain conversations, certain bad blood even. You can get that with a lot of people when they're not certain about their values and their principles. Sometimes a lot of people go as far as to say political beliefs too come into play in relationships. Political beliefs, religious beliefs too. You have to be able to get to a point with somebody where you are honest enough to let them know that this is what I value. This is who I am as a person, and I value certain things. These are my principles. You have to be someone that knows what their principles and their values are. And if they don't even have that, then what are you talking about in the first place? You gotta be compatible with somebody. Compatibility is key in relationships. And to date in Lagos, if you want to date somebody that likes party after party, what do you expect? Party after party. Come on. Maybe someone that loves the club, meanwhile you're an introvert. I'm not saying this relationship can work, but you know that person wants to bring you out. They want to have constant, maybe let me just say PDA. They want to have PDA at those parties. They want to be vibing, making videos, Snapchat, Instagram. They love content creation and those kind of things. And you as a partner, you love to just be quiet indoors. You don't really vibe with that energy of going to a party every time, and you're not even a fan of it. You don't like it. You don't like vibing. You don't like the content. You don't even like being seen. I'm not saying this kind of relationship isn't going to work, but I'm definitely trying to let you know that when you're with such kind of person, there is a very high chance you should let yourself know that you'll be coming with a lot of friction, especially when you know that that person really desires such kind of thing in a partner and you cannot compromise. So if you're that kind of person who loves partying, party vibes, party after party, wouldn't you be more likely to check on that part of yourself, what you value in a partner? You love a partner who loves that kind of energy, who can, feel like you're ride or die. You can feel like that with that person, and that person understands you. they're probably going to hold your hair up when you're throwing up in the bathroom sink in a party. They're going to hold your wig for you. She's going to be there to, to pick you up when you're drunk, or when, something start happening, when there's a crash out, because things like that happen. That's life. I'm just giving an example. Do you know what I'm saying, beautiful people? This is your station. We're talking dating in Last Kitty. This is a code that's tracking for a lot of people talking about compatibility. I know, I feel it. A lot of people don't really like this one. They don't like when I'm saying things like this one. Slow motion this side. Yeah, the slow motion that part, okay? Because really, compatibility is essential. You gotta have similar values, principles when you're dating, when you're trying to date somebody. Okay, you can't be some wild party freak and then you want to date somebody that's a very serious lawyer, and you expect that he will be following you to parties. You expect that he will live his way of life, and then you expect that person would jump over the fence for you. He would roll around the sand with you, or you expect certain kind of things. That's where some kind of clashes come in. Relationships are complicated. There's no easy manual for them. You gotta know it. You gotta accept it. You gotta move you gotta move wiser, streetwiser. This is Lagos. Shine your eyes. Or let me go just do you anyhow. You're on your streets. Come on. The streets of Lagos are cold. It's cold outside. Should I say the street of Lagos is hot? Some parts is very cold. Hey, it was But some parts it's hot. Hey, the heat is too much. There's a pressure. There's a pressure to love, to be seen with somebody. There's a pressure to do matching outfits. Couple goals. And if you're not couple going, if you've been single for too long, there's nothing wrong with you. You're acting risky. Oh, my beautiful people of Lagos. I'm your beautiful host here, Pink. And this is we are still on dating in Last Kitty. This is our first episode, guys. We are like, wow, come on. We are so happy. I am so happy to have every beautiful listener here listening. This is your station, your sound, your world. Overt Radio, beautiful people of Lagos. Come on. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. We love you. Dating in Lagos.